Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you. Not too bad at all. What's new?
Not much. Finally have a day off work, which is nice.
Yeah,
They work us like crazy in the hospital, so it's nice to have a day off.
yeah, I'll bet.
But yeah, what's new over there? Anything?
Nothing much, gotta say. Just
Okay.
same old, same old. We're kind of on the proper countdown towards season 7 now, I feel.
Which is kind of sad in a way.
Well, it's not over till it's over.
I know, but it's still kind of sad.
Yeah. I think we should remain positive and not give up hope. I think it's
Okay.
getting quite a lot of attention. I feel like the fight isn't lost yet.
That it is getting a lot of attention. That's true.
Yes. But I think this is a good shout to get everyone caught up on season 6. That seemed to go down quite well when we released that season 6 recap. So, are you happy to keep going?
Yeah, let's do
Let's
it.
do that then. I'm not enjoying it, I will say. And we did get a comment from someone on social media. Sorry, I can't remember who you were, and I'm sorry. Um, saying that she can't watch it again, season 6. So she's relying on our
Ah, okay.
recaps because it's just too kind of harrowing for her to watch through again. So we'll just have to put ourselves through it, Tiffany, for the people that can't.
Yeah, we're taking one for the team.
Taking one for the team. Um, right. So 602. It's such a mouthful.
It
Everybody's
is.
got something to hide except me and my monkey.
Yeah, who thought of that title?
Someone who really likes the Beatles,
Yeah, everybody
because
likes long titles too.
I was embarrassed to not know that was the Beatles. Do you remember last week I said, "Oh, this the title of this song has intrigued me," and it's not even
Mm.
that deep of a cut. It's on the White Album. Yeah, I was kind of embarrassed that I didn't know it. But then when I listened to it, thank
Mhm.
you, Minna, by the way. Minna sweetly sent me a link to a YouTube. It's not a video. It just played the song with the White Album in the background. But you take my meaning. And after I listened to it, I knew why I didn't know it. And that is because it is not their finest work.
Ah, okay. Got it.
It's not, it's no something or let it be, put it that way.
Hmm. Mm, okay.
But it's the Beatles. So we have to assume that Henry Robles is a Beatles fan. Who isn't, to be fair? I don't know if that's a well known Beatles song or not. Anyway, this one
I
aired.
didn't know it, so
No,
no.
no, it's not one of their bangers. Let's put it that way.
No.
Um, original air date for this one was the 13th of October 2022. As I said, written by Henry Robles. We talked about his writing credits when we did our breakdown of episode 615. He's written some bangers, starting with season 5, episode 5, Things We Lost in the Fire, which was Dean's death. And then that was followed by 517, The Road You Didn't Take, which has one of my favourite Marina scenes of all time in it. It's the one where it's like right at the end, and Karina's in bed, and Maya comes home from work, and they go through her like green card questions, and
Why
it's
was
just so.
Karina in bed? Not surprising me that was one of your favorite scenes. The words Karina and bed were together.
I don't know how many times I'm going to have to
It just
say that it's not like that.
okay.
Do you know who my ultimate celebrity crush is? Actually, is Jennifer
No.
Beals. Jennifer Beals is the great love of my life.
I don't know if I know who that is.
She was in Flashdance.
Oh, really?
Yeah, except then she
Wow.
was like 19, and as we know, I don't find women attractive until they're at least in their mid 30s. So when she hit like 36, I was like, oh, Jennifer Beals is an attractive woman. And she's 60 now, and I'm still madly in love with her.
Interesting.
Yes. So I not that I love Stefania, just not in that way.
It's okay.
But yes, but that is we've gone so far off the reservation already.
We have already, I know. And how many seconds? But we're some minutes in. We made it some minutes in.
We made it a good 5 minutes in before
We did.
before it went onto the bumpy road. But yes, no, but it's one of my favourite Marina scenes. And yeah, Maya comes home and they just have that really tender, beautiful moment,
Hmm.
and it's just lovely. So Henry Robles gave us that scene, and then the aforementioned episode 615. What are you willing to lose?
Hmm.
Which was the sober house fire and that shower scene.
Hmm.
And then he's also pinned the season 7 opener,
Oh, okay.
entitled "This Woman's Work."
Hmm.
So we've got that to look forward to. Can I just say that if that title is anything to go by, I'm bloody excited.
Yes, I agree.
Sounds
I'm
like a
excited. I'm
very
excited too.
sounds like a very female centric title, and I do think that the female characters in Station 19 are the most interesting ones.
Very, very women powered show, right? Very
Yeah,
female powered show for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. Um, that's a song and a half. That's a great song choice. That Kate Bush song. Are you not familiar with it?
No.
It's a really beautiful song. I think I'm right in saying this. If I am wrong, someone will know and someone will tell me. But I think that she wrote it specifically for a John Hughes film called She's Having a Baby.
Okay.
Um, it's a movie I've never seen, but it's got Kevin Bacon in it, I think,
Hmm.
and I think it was written specifically for that, and it's about childbirth. Oh,
Mm.
actually, depending on when they hop in, it might be quite a literal song choice because we finished off with that waitress, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
Having a C-section and getting
Yeah.
rushed straight off, but
Yeah.
um, but yeah, no, it's an absolute banger of a song written by Kate Bush, my fellow countrywoman, Kate Bush. Um, and I've gone off the reservation again. I apologise. I've
It's you
somehow
this
ended up
time,
with
not
Kevin
me. Usually
Bacon.
it's me.
I know. Do
Usually
you know
it's
what? I can
usually I'm
Kevin
the one.
Bacon, I'll Kevin Bacon our way back to where we were. Are you ready for my 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon to get us back on the reservation?
Sure.
Kevin Bacon, married to Kira Sedgwick, who
Hmm.
was the closer, and
Hmm.
in a very fine episode of The Closer, playing the prettiest psychopath you've ever seen in your life, was Peter Page, who
Oh,
directed this episode. But I got us back on board.
wow, really? That's cool.
Yes, so Peter
I
Page
forgot
directed
that. Yeah, I
this
forgot that he used
episode.
to do some acting.
Yeah. But Peter Page directed this one, and we should probably leave it there with Peter Page because otherwise I'll spend the next hour talking about how much I love this man.
Yeah, because you love Peter Page.
But you should just know that anytime I see his face or hear his name mentioned, there is choral music being sung by angels playing in my head. No,
Yes, I know how much you love Peter Page.
I do. So this one was a little bit of a mishmash, I
Yeah,
think.
I agree. No, I agree.
So my sections, as I've got them, are kind of a couple of bitty bits, and then a medium-sized bit, and then a big bit.
It's broken down into bits, into bit sizes.
I'll just
You're
break
making
it
it
down
sound
into
like a
little
drill
pieces.
set.
Yeah,
This bit is this size for this drill. It's like a drill set of bits.
and that is a very appropriate comment for you to make since you are talking to a fully fledged lesbian who enjoys a power tool. Or
Okay
getting my
then.
hands worked anyway. But shall we start with the opening montage?
Let's do it.
Okay, so we open with Theo in the shower, joined in short order by Vic. By the way, what is it with these people in shower sex? For goodness sake,
I don't
Henry
know.
Robles, he wrote the shower sex scene with Marina, and now he's got Theo and Vic in the shower.
I don't know. I like to just take a shower. I don't know about other people, but like a shower is like my relaxing time. Like I just like a good, nice, hot shower. Just I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what's up with these people.
a bit of alone time.
Yeah.
Also,
It's like
if he's basing it off experience, he's the taller of the two in his relationship, is all I'm saying. He's never had his head tipped back with water going in his ears, up his nose, choking to death.
right, right. In his eyes.
Yes, it's just unpleasant. We know my feelings on shower sex. Henry Robles clearly has other ideas, but Vic and Theo are showering together. I mean, it saves water, I guess. There's that.
Yeah, I guess
Better for
so.
the environment. Next, we see Jack and Eva in a far less loving expression of
Hmm.
yes, that. Um, they've got a couple of booze bottles on the bedside table. Randomly, there's a chapstick there as well. Um, Jack, Jack's performance appears to be hampered by his previously handcuffed wrist.
Hmm.
And as they roll off the bed, we see Andy's number coming up on Jack's phone, which he ignores because he's got better things to do.
Yeah, he's
Then
preoccupied.
we go to Maya and Karina's room, where mysteriously they have swapped sides of the bed
Did that bother you?
immensely.
I can tell. I can tell that it bothered you. I'm sorry.
Thank you. You didn't do it, to be fair, but I
I know,
appreciate.
but I'm sorry for your feelings.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just don't think it's something that people do as a general rule. I
No,
did
you
it
don't
after I
swap
had
sides of the bed.
surgery, um,
Okay.
and then once I'd recovered from my surgery, we swapped
You went
back.
back,
But
right? Yeah, it wasn't a
right,
permanent thing.
it's not a permanent thing. But weirdly, we're how many years into their relationship? 3 years in, they've decided to swap sides of the bed.
It's 9:30 a.m. and I just got the weirdest craving for Subway. Sorry, continue.
Oh, you can get a Subway breakfast sandwich. Subway do really good breakfast sandwiches.
I know, but I don't want a breakfast one. I want the cold cut combo. It's really weird. Sorry. Continue. I was just sitting here listening to you talk, and all of a sudden I was like, "Ooh, Subway sounds good." Like that's where my brain just it was really weird. I don't know. Anyway, do you like my shirt?
I do like your shirt.
You
I'm
didn't say
wearing a
anything about
matching
my shirt.
shirt.
It made me sad.
Look at this.
We're
We're matching.
mashing. We
Matchy
are.
matchy. Um, where was I? Yes, they've switched sides of the bed.
They
Anyway,
did.
Maya
Only
rolls over.
psychopaths do that.
Yes. Maya rolls over to hold Karina, who shrugs off Maya's affections and goes to the bathroom, slams the door. There's nothing quite like Karina DeLuca in a strop, is there?
She's a good slammer,
She's a
and
good slammer, she's a good face
I
puller.
totally meant that in a door pulling way. I realized after I came out, it could have been perceived in so many other ways, but I'd really meant slam. She's really good at slamming the door.
Whoa! I didn't take it that way.
Okay, good, because I was the look on your face was like I didn't know how to take the look on your face, so I was like, did
No,
I
I
just
was
say
just
something wrong?
no. I
Okay,
was literally like enjoying stroppy Karina in my head, and
yeah,
then
okay, good.
yeah,
Thought I
no,
said something terribly wrong. Okay,
no, you didn't.
okay,
I
good.
mean, when you corrected yourself, then you did.
Was it like the cherries?
Oh bloody hell, are we back there? I'm still traumatized. I literally have not eaten a cherry since that,
I
since that
traumatized
comment was
so many
made.
people's relationships with cherries. I feel so bad.
You've ruined it. And cherries were
I
one of my
have.
favorite fruits, and I have cherry flavored chapstick as well. Just going on the
Mm,
chapstick theme. Cherry is like
yeah.
was one of my favorite things. I'm not sure what my relationship to cherry is anymore, thanks to you.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That you can apologize for, and I will accept your apology. Thank you.
Thank you.
I
Thank you for
appreciate it.
accepting my apology.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's true
Um.
friendship there.
Yeah. Offered and
And
accepted.
accepted. Yeah.
That's what
That's
we
how
do.
it works. It is what we do.
um. Karina did not accept the offer of a hug from Maya.
No, she did not.
Had a
At
strop.
all. Yeah,
Had a
like that
strop.
was like yeah. I
And
mean,
so Maya then turns to her first great love, her running shoes.
she must have
The
stock in
montage.
running shoes.
She must have stuck in running shoes.
Yeah, like serious stock.
But I feel like the montage was just a really nice scene setter for us.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I
we
agree.
kind of open with Jack continuing his downward spiral, Vic and Theo being loved up, and like a growing rift between Maya and Karina. So that
Hmm.
set the scene for us.
Hmm.
And it didn't kind of fit in with anything else, so I just stuck it at the beginning where it belongs.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was a good intro.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Um, More like that, please. It was good though, wasn't it? It did set the scene.
Yeah, yeah, it did. It was good.
Do you have anything more to say about the montage? It was what it was, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was good, but it wasn't. There's not much you can really drag it out to be. It
No.
it, it gave what it gave.
Yeah. Um, then again with a bitty bit, I'll go with the chief. That scene with the chief and Dixon could have been in the middle. It could have been at the beginning. It could have been at the end. I can't even remember where it was, if I'm perfectly honest. I know it was there. I don't recall when. Um, at what I'm assuming is some sort of headquarters or a civic
Yeah,
building or something.
yeah,
Dixon is lying in wait for Chief Ross and is immediately
yes.
gross, commenting that skipping lunch must be how she keeps such a slim figure when he overhears part of a conversation. Tiffany's shaking her head for those who can't see us, which is
Oh,
everybody. Only I
sorry.
can see Tiffany.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
only you could see
uh, I love how she hits back at him though with a top class slight, which is that she forgets that they work in the same building because he's hardly ever there.
it.
Um, then they have an exchange in which he shows how out of touch he is because he has a pop at Travis, and Ross asks if he's threatened by him. And he sarcastically says that he's going to really miss the bump from the gay Asian voting bloc. We're getting a head shake again. But Ross reminds him that 10% of nurses in Washington state are Asian American. And then she reminds him that the nurses union, along with the police and fire unions, are key endorsements in the mayoral race.
Yes, yeah.
And then I love how she just casually slides in there. So, 2 out of 3.
You gotta love
So,
Chief Ross for so many
yeah,
reasons.
2 out of 3 for our Trav. And then Dixon has a pop at 19 and their lack of humility again,
Yeah,
saying that they must live in their own little world if Montgomery thinks that he's got the fire union all sewn up. And then he says to send Travis, I think he said cuddles and snuggles. It was something like that.
yeah.
And can't help having one more pop at the chief, who has her shirt partially unbuttoned. And he
Hmm.
says that he likes her makeover because the tie made her look mannish.
You
Um,
better back off.
right? You're coming for him.
I am, and he's dead, and I don't even feel bad about
But I loved her response, which was like very much under her breath. But she said, "Yeah," says the guy with the spray tan.
it. Yeah, she doesn't
Brilliant.
need me. She doesn't need me to. She's got it. She can handle herself.
She's got it. She's got it.
Yeah,
Um, I'm not really sure what this scene was about.
yeah, yeah. It
I
was.
mean,
It
I
was definitely
enjoyed
a
it.
filler. No, I did too,
Yeah,
but it was definitely a filler. Yeah.
I did. I really did love it. Like Pat Healy and Mel Dandridge are just like acting titans.
Hmm.
So it was brilliant, and it was really well written, and the timing of it, like the rhythm was great, and I guess like his casual misogyny, homophobia, racism, like just his general
Hmm.
bigotry, um,
Hmm.
made us love to hate him more. It
Right.
was a great scene. I just don't really get what it was doing there.
Yeah. No, I agree. It was just something that they needed to. They wanted to utilize those characters, and they needed to pass time.
Yeah, it really felt like, oh, you need to write these guys in. Like,
Yeah.
you are contractually obliged to use them.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
so use them. But it was a great, I mean, it was a good use of them.
It was,
it just didn't fit with anything else in the episode, I didn't think.
which they're good at doing on this show.
Yeah,
Like you can
we're,
probably
we're,
pick one scene per episode where it's like, did that really fit in?
we're coming up 2 minutes short.
Yeah.
We need something. But that was that. Anything more to say about the Chief and Dixon?
So much to say about the chief, but I won't. We can keep going.
We'll keep going. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, she does turn up at the incident briefly. So should
Yes.
we talk about the incident next, or the
Sure. Good
incidents? There
good
were
transition.
one and a bit, I think.
One
Um,
in a bit.
the
You and
initial
these
call.
bits.
I know.
The
With my
title's
bits and
gonna have to be
bits.
something with bits. I don't
With
know.
bits.
Bacon bits. We were talking about Kevin Bacon earlier.
Oh, oh, I like that. That is a
Yeah, we
strong contender. Bacon bits.
it bacon bits. Something something and bacon bits.
That is
Something like that.
that is a strong contender. I like it.
See what happens when I get adequate amounts of sleep.
Yeah, congrats on getting like more than 5 hours.
Yeah, thank you. And like together, not like separated with blocks of
Not
chunks of time in
over a
between.
24-hour period, like in one
Yeah,
chunk.
yeah.
Welcome to the human race. Doesn't it feel like that when you've actually had some joined up sleep? You're like, oh, I remember how to human.
Well, and I don't have to like, and I have 2 days off in a row, so I'm gonna have to go to work
What?
tomorrow. I know. I have
You are
more
a
than one day off.
slacker, mate.
I know. Look at me.
2 days in a row. God, you're expecting a decent living wage next. For
I
goodness
know.
sake.
Seriously, they've been
Unbelievable.
killing me, man. Killing me.
Oh, well, at least you've got Station 19 to get you through.
I do.
Right. Oh, Christ, we're off the bloody reservation again. Right. The incident. Right. I'm with you. I'm with you. Um, I'm still stuck on Jennifer Beals. Made a mistake of bringing her up. Right. 60 and still killing it. Um, the initial call is to an apartment fire.
Hmm.
The problem being when they get there is the hydrant is dry. So Beckett's got a call for like a tank of water to be brought out.
Yep.
Travis and Ruiz are on rescue duty. They get an older Asian couple out of what appears to be a top floor apartment to me. And the only reason that I mention this is because there is a very funny exchange where Travis is telling them to leave everything behind because they don't have time to grab things. Nothing as important as you, until he realizes that what they're grabbing is the wedding album. And then in a very Travis, oh no, that's your wedding album. No, that is important. You should definitely get that. Love him.
Travis is so funny. He
He's
is
brilliant. He's
hilarious.
brilliant. Vic and Sullivan find the cause of the fire, which is about 386 computer servers. I might have exaggerated that slightly, but there were a lot. They're all overheating and sparking, and Vic has to pull a hose up from the engine on a rope because of the hydrant being dry.
Hmm.
Whilst Sullivan rescues this pasty white guy who is responsible for all of the overheated servers. Outside, once they've rescued everybody, the older Asian guy from the apartment fire goes into respiratory distress, and the pasty white guy starts panicking. So Maya
Hmm.
realizes that something's up and basically
Hmm.
tells him that if the old guy dies, he goes to jail. So if he knows
Hmm.
something, he should start talking.
Yep.
Meanwhile, upstairs, Sullivan radios down that there's more fire than they have water. Beckett says that the tank of water is still 8 minutes out. Your wife, the chief, says that she's going to try and expedite it. But in the meantime, Andy searches the perimeter for another hydrant. She doesn't find a hydrant, but she does find a swimming pool that the older residents were complaining about the building managers covering instead of maintaining.
You notice it's always like 8 or 10 minutes out. Whenever like an aid car or a truck is out, it's always like 8 or 10 minutes out. It's
I think
always.
there's something about the number eight.
Yeah.
Um, there is something about the number eight. I don't know if you've noticed this about me. It's been pointed out to me that whenever I do one of my gross exaggerations, which is approximately 6 times an hour, which in itself is probably a gross exaggeration, um,
Hmm.
86 is the number that I usually go to.
Okay.
I think there is
Got
something
it.
about the number eight. I think it just,
There's gotta be.
yeah, I think it is a thing, like genuinely.
It is. I've just noticed that. Like whenever like it's 8 minutes out, it's 8 minutes out, it's always 8 minutes out. Where the heck is it that it's always 8 minutes out? Just gotta know.
Well, it's a question we can pose. We'll ask the question. I mean, we won't get an answer, but it's a question we
We
can
won't.
pose.
Yeah, we're asking.
Um, but yeah, so the team. then put together some elaborate siphon, and they use the swimming pool water to put out the fire. Vic calls Andy a genius. Sullivan chuckles that that's our senior man. Job's a good un. Meanwhile, Maya has terrified pasty white guy into. I think Maya would terrify many men, but especially this pasty white guy. She's terrified him into confessing that he's been running a crypto mine out of the apartment building and it's his dodgy wiring that's caused the fire. And then she basically bullies into giving up his boss. And so he
Mm-hmm.
says that he knows there are other mines, but he doesn't know
Mm-hmm.
where they are. But he thinks they're likely to be in low income housing units like this one because they just get cheap lecky.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the residents are less likely to ask questions. So the chief has a great idea, which is to phone the electricity board and get a list basically of low income housing units that are drawing lots of power. And then she gets a list and then breaks everyone up into little teams to go see if they can find these crypto mines. We only see Andy, Vic, Theo, and Sullivan's trip out because they find head crypto bro Brian. And as they turn up, he is trying to beat a hasty retreat.
Oh my
And
God, this scene was so funny. I may have
he
rewound this one a couple times just to see the
it,
reactions.
the noise that it made me feel a little bit sick.
Yeah.
But he leaps off his balcony, attempting to jump into the bed of his pickup truck.
Yeah.
But he is a pasty white guy, crypto bro, and not an elite athlete. And he misjudges and lands astride the side of his pickup truck.
A little bit too far to the right.
A little bit too far to the right.
I
And
just loved the reactions, even from Andy. Like
like,
they're all their
oh,
reactions. They're
oh yeah,
grabbing for the yeah. It was just
and
funny.
getting some ice, and just
Yeah.
lots of hilarious genitalia based
Yes.
word humor ensues.
Yes. It was funny.
It was very funny. Travis and Ben had taken the older Asian couple to the hospital, and on the way there, the wife and Ben are talking in the back of the aid car about marriage, and she calls out to Travis and
Mm-hmm.
asks him if he has a wife, and he says no, that
Mm-hmm.
he used to have a husband, and then Ben
Mm-hmm.
tells her that Travis is running for mayor, and she says, "Oh, you're going to need a husband."
Yeah.
So I'm going to write you down my gay grandson's phone number. Travis politely declines. Ben says he'll take it and pass it on. And then
Yeah.
on the way back from the hospital, Travis confesses to Ben that he doesn't want to win the mayoral race because he thinks the chances of him ending up like Dixon are way too high because he enjoyed all the positive press he got from the garden
Mm-hmm.
party and he's worried that it's
Mm-hmm.
going to go to his head. But Ben allays all his fears, tells him that he could buy all of the billboards and TV spots in the world and he would never be as corrupt as Dixon. Did I miss anything? I tried to hit all the
No.
major points.
No. You didn't miss anything.
Um, I haven't got a butt ton to say about this. I thought it was good. I thought it was entertaining. I thought both of
Yeah.
them were, but I thought the fire was kind of quite high octane and quite entertaining, and then the balcony dive was funny as hell. So I thought it was a well written and very very well directed Peter Page scene slash scenes.
I was just gonna say, if anything, it was just entertaining.
Yeah,
It was very entertaining for sure.
yeah. And I do think it was them setting up Andy to be captain by the end of the season. I think
Hmm.
that was the setup again. Sullivan saying, "Yeah, that's our senior man," and
Yeah.
her being the one that came up with the idea of siphoning the pool water.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
think it was all quite Andy centric.
Yeah.
Any more for any more?
Any more for any more? No, sorry.
That's quite all right. We're now half an hour in. That's the first time you've done my English accent, so
Wow, that's impressive.
I think that's the longest you've ever gone.
That is. That's very impressive. I'm gonna pat
I
myself
know.
on the back.
Get you. Yeah. Um, shall we go on to the medium-sized bit?
Yes, we're
My
switching bit
medium-sized
sizes
bit,
now.
my bit sizes. This is my middle bit. Karina and Jack.
Karina
Um,
and Jack.
Karina and Jack. So Karina is attending a patient in the emergency room when who should she come across but Jack? And she asks him why he's so surprised to see her at the hospital, since she works there.
She's like, you know, I work here, right, guy?
Yeah. And he says it isn't surprise, so she offers up that perhaps it's shame that he's feeling. Um, and, and he says, no, it's fear. And I think, to be fair, he's got a right to feel that.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
and he asks if they can save the part where she yells at him until after he gets some pain meds for his wrist. And they have a really funny exchange where she says, do you think I'm yelling? Have you ever been yelled at by an Italian? And he's like,
Yeah, yeah.
sure, you. And she says, well, then you'll know when I'm yelling. And he then apologizes. And she says, oh, what, for abandoning us? Which he thinks might
It's
be too. Go on.
aggressive.
Well, he thinks it's too strong a word, but she thinks that it's the accurate word. And says that he broke her trust when he left. And then Jack just kind of capitulates.
Hmm.
So she says not to agree with her blindly, and he childishly does his, okay then, you're wrong, shut up. At which point the yelling does start, but it's in Italian.
Yes, yeah.
And she storms off. And I think she's saying I don't even know, what's the step down from pidgin Italian? It's like my non-Italian, the most minuscule amount of Italian that I possibly could have is what I have. But I think she's saying something like, everyone's always so politically correct in America and you can't argue with them, or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Can
Which
someone
is
Italian
true.
tell me what she is actually saying?
Yeah, let us know what she's actually saying. They should
Because I
totally
may have just
subtitle it.
yeah, because I think I may have just that might be a shocking translation. I may have just completely made the whole thing up. That's my best guess. Um, and I know I went into quite a lot of detail with that, and I'm probably going to go into quite a lot of detail with the next bit as well. But it's just because the devil was in the detail in these
Hmm.
exchanges, wasn't it? Like,
Hmm.
I just
Yes.
think it was really well written, and the devil was in the detail. But um, she comes back with one of the new guys from Grey's, introducing him as a surgical intern. He's a shepherd.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's called Dr. Adams, but he's trying to hide the fact that he's a shepherd because there's so much pressure attached to it. Because obviously, like, Derek Shepherd was the
Oh,
greatest neurosurgeon
yeah,
the world had ever seen, kind of thing.
yeah,
And
yeah.
Amelia Shepherd is like a preeminent surgeon.
Hmm.
So he's
Hmm.
Amelia's and Derek's nephew, and so therefore Meredith's nephew
Oh,
through marriage.
okay, got it.
But he's a bit dozy, as you could probably tell
Mm.
from that scene.
Mm. Yeah,
Um,
yeah, for sure.
yes. So Jack asks if he needs surgery, and Karina very dryly says, well, that's why he's here. He's going to tell you whether you need surgery. All that was missing was duh. Um, and then Jack explains to Dr. Adams that he got the injury during an incident involving a tree, a tornado, and some handcuffs. And when Dr. Adams says, well, at least you had some fun, Karina shoots him a very disapproving look. And Jack says that he should have got it looked at sooner. And Karina cuts in and says, well, but you didn't because you're in self destruct mode, like everyone else in my life. She's not being at all dramatic.
No.
Dr. Adams says Jack's going to need an x ray and looks at Karina. And then Jack looks from one to the other because he knows it's about to go off.
Yeah.
And Karina doesn't disappoint and yells at him, what are you looking at me for then? Go order one. And he literally runs away scared. And then she tells Jack that that's how the interns learn. They scare them. Um, and she then says that she blames the hormones for how mean she's being at the moment, but admits to him that that's only part of it. And she's also just angry. And as she says this, she's literally punching
Yeah.
an ice pack. Like,
Yeah.
well, she says that she's angry at her wife and just angry at the world. And then we get a little political comment which is far more subtle than the clangor that was dropped last week.
Hmm.
And she says that she used to wear pink scrubs because work was her happy place, but now they're in
Yes.
black scrubs in protest because women's bodies are being held hostage by the government. And then, bless her, she breaks down and says she literally has no happy place left.
Oh,
I know.
that's
Um,
sad.
it was really sad. Um, but she shrugs it off and she says, "This keeps happening. It's the hormones." And and then she's back to angry again when Dr. Adams comes back with a wheelchair, asking him what it's for because Jack can walk.
Yeah, and she's like, he can walk. Are you an idiot? Is basically how she sounded.
I mean, is she wrong?
No.
And also he doesn't know where X-ray is. So she yells at him to go learn something and then takes Jack to imaging herself, yelling at him on the way. Like, come on! Angry Karina is my happy place.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the top faves.
She drops Jack off at X-ray and then asks him if any of the story of him leaving Seattle and going to find his family was true, and asks him if he even left Seattle at all. And very sweetly, she says they were worried sick about him.
Yeah.
And yeah, and she wants to just double check if he's been hiding out at Eva's this whole time, or if he did actually leave. And he opens up to Karina and tells her that he found his little brother, his little foster brother, Cal,
Hmm.
in
Hmm.
Utah. But when he went to meet him, Cal didn't remember him. So then he
Yeah.
abandoned the idea of going to find Lily and just camped out up and down the coast and slept in his truck before coming back to Seattle and walking into a
Hmm.
bar and bumping into Eva.
Hmm.
And the rest we know. And he says that was a couple of months ago that he bumped into her. And Karina
Months.
says that, yeah, so he's been there a while.
Yeah.
And Karina says that everyone she knows seems to be in crisis at the moment. And Jack asks if that's her telling him he's not special. But she says that the world is having a collective moment and that Jack doesn't have to be alone unless he keeps choosing to be.
Hmm.
When he's ready to be discharged, oh, but when he was ready to be discharged, that discharge nurse was the grumpiest nurse in the world. He's like, "Shall I sign it with an X?" She's like, "Who gives a shit, mate? Like, whatevs."
Just sign it and
Yeah,
go.
yeah. And then at the end, when he's like, "That's what it sounds to be held up by an Italian," and she's like, "Yeah, I don't care." It's she was she was a whole mood. Um, but yeah, he's got his splint thing on,
Hmm.
and Karina comes to see him off and asks him if it still hurts, and to prove that he was paying attention, he blows it off, saying that he's fine. And she tells him that she wasn't dismissing his pain. She was just telling him not to be alone in it, that there are people
Yeah.
around him who love him, that the
Yes.
abuses of his childhood will only define him if he needs everything to end in chaos, and to not self destruct and get help when the people around him tell him he needs help. And she's getting more and more irate as she goes. And then she realizes she's actually talking to her wife.
Just talking to Maya. Yeah.
And there we end Jack and Karina.
Which I loved that scene. I loved that whole interaction. I really did.
It was my favourite part of the whole episode, all
Was
of
it?
their stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really good.
Yeah. I loved that we saw the big sister little brother dynamic between them
Yeah.
playing out,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
like how they open up to each other. He didn't say any of that stuff to Andy or Maya. He's been
Hmm.
screening Andy's calls, but Karina's the one that he opens up to about where he's
Hmm.
been and what's been happening. And we see with her the genuine care that she's got for him.
Yeah.
Um, and it just shows that last week's "he's dead to me" was just an off the cuff remark. She doesn't
Yeah.
mean it
She
at
doesn't feel
all.
that way. Yeah.
And despite his history with Maya, it seems like there's a real trust between them. Like she does
Hmm.
actually trust him with her thoughts and feelings. And yeah, I
Yeah.
just loved it. I loved it.
No, I did too. I thought it was really well written. It was well executed between them both. They have a good chemistry together.
Yeah, they do. And Stefania Spampinato again. By the way, I don't think I've told you this before. This
Oh, I'm nervous.
This
I
is
don't know
so
why.
funny. Well, I think this is funny. You know, I use speech to text to do my notes because I can't
Oh yeah,
type.
you do. Yeah. Yep. Hmm.
My program that I use, for some reason, cannot learn the name Spampinato. It cannot learn it. I've tr-
Okay.
I've tried teaching it in all the different ways. I've tried using like my pidgin Italian accent. I've tried using
Hmm.
my very English, because obviously it knows I'm very English. Spampinato. I've tried. I've tried all of the ways. It cannot learn her name, and I forget that it doesn't know her name, and I just say her whole name sometimes, Stefania
Yeah.
Spampinato, because
Yeah.
I don't know her, so I use both her names.
Yeah.
And then when I read it back, it always says something funny. And today's funnies I kept in because they are funny to tell
What do we
you.
get? Yeah.
So the first time I said Stefania Spampinato, it came out as Stefania spanking after.
What the heck? Oh my God.
And then I tried again, and then it decided to say Stefania pumping actor.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So,
interesting.
so yeah. So these, pick which one you want. Spanking, pumping. What do you want?
Yeah, where do you want to go? Where are we going with this?
All of it's inappropriate. So I'm just going to
Yeah.
stick to being very informal, which doesn't suit me well, and just calling her Stefania, because otherwise my computer just goes rogue. But there we go. Uh, anyway,
Wow.
what I was trying to say was that she had us running the gamut of emotions again.
Hmm.
Wasn't she just brilliant? Like going
Yeah,
from
she
like the
was. No, she
humor
really
to the
was.
drama, from laughter to like she was just absolutely superb. And I think that's the other reason that I loved these scenes. They were just so beautifully crafted for us to
Hmm.
get like this whole range out of her.
Yeah,
They were great. And yeah, the writing was just so good.
it was. It was
It
really
was
good.
re- it
It
was
was really.
And guys, this is how you write a subtle political statement into the writing that works
Hmm.
in context with your character and doesn't feel
Hmm.
like the writer was just trying to smack you around the face with their point of view.
Hmm. Yeah, agreed, for sure.
Actually tie
It was classically done.
Yeah, tying in the whole reversal of Roe v. Wade with like the
Hmm.
general downturn of Karina's
Hmm.
life, and that
Hmm.
it just feeling like something else that's had the joy sucked out of it for her
Hmm.
was brilliant. It was just night and day with last week's climate change rant. And this is coming from a certified hippie who's 100% on board with that message, but even I found it annoying and I'm on their side. But yeah, Karina and Jack, genius.
Yes, totally executed it. They did their job.
Anything else you wanted to say about that?
No, I think we've pretty much hit it.
Cool, 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 cool. Um, right, this is like the big bit,
The big bit.
and it's probably going to seem a bit. I'm going to try and get through it in the least complicated way I can, but it's probably going to seem a bit frenetic because I've just dealt with Maya and the blackmail kind of
Mm-hmm.
all in one bit,
Okay.
because
Okay.
otherwise it would have been too split up if we were doing like the team and then Maya and then back to the team.
Sure.
And
Yeah. What you got?
so we start out with Maya in the gym at 19. She heads straight to the treadmill, telling Ben that the run that she was on to get to work when he drove past her was just the warm up. But she only manages to take about 3 strides before Beckett comes in and tells her that she's on Crisis 1 paperwork. And then Ben then goes to the beanery where Vic, Theo, and Sullivan are, and and Travis is there, and says, "Is it just him, or is Beckett out for blood with Maya?" And Theo
Mm-hmm.
then confesses that he overheard Beckett and Karina's conversation in the barn
Mm-hmm.
last week,
Mm-hmm.
where he overheard Beckett say that Maya tried to blackmail Ross for his job. And then Andy immediately jumps to Maya's defense, saying that that's ridiculous. But Vic says she isn't so sure because Maya's the most ruthless person she knows other than Sullivan. And then they all start coming up with conspiracy theories as to what Maya would have on Ross to blackmail her.
Mm-hmm.
And Sullivan exits the room. And as with last week and the stairwell, Andy notices Sullivan's movements and thinks there's something sus.
Mm-hmm.
Then she goes to where Maya is in the office and asks her if the whole blackmail thing is true. And Maya asks if Karina told her. And Andy says, well, no, other people are talking about it. Why would Karina tell me? And Maya says, well, because she thinks there's something wrong with me. And Andy says, well, if it's true that you blackmailed Ross, then there kind of is.
Yeah.
Maya says she saw an opportunity to get her job back and took it, but because Andy's looking at her like she's scum, is what Maya says, she declines to say anymore. But Andy tells Maya that she's a safe space, and so then Maya then confesses, but she ends up kind of downplaying the whole Ross
Mm-hmm.
and Sullivan thing, doesn't she? And says,
Mm-hmm.
well, I think they're in a relationship, or maybe they're together, or maybe they were together, or maybe Ross just wants them to be together. She
Yeah.
can't really like pin it down, but she says
Yeah.
whatever it was gross and inappropriate. And Andy reminds her that they've all been gross and inappropriate,
Mm-hmm.
but that they don't blackmail each other.
Right.
And Maya says that she knows it was just an impulse, and we find out that basically Chief Ross's revenge was telling Beckett, so Beckett can do all the punishing for her. And Maya says that now Karina knows, she thinks that Maya needs therapy. So then Andy says that Maya needs to make her two promises. One, she doesn't tell anyone else in the firehouse about the blackmail. And two, she listens to her wife and she does go get some help.
Mm-hmm.
Then on the way from the fire to Crypto Guy's place, Andy, Vic, Theo, and Sullivan are all traveling together, and everyone except Sullivan and Andy making light and making fun of the
Yeah.
Beckett situation. Andy's trying to keep a lid on it, saying that whatever it is, she's sure it's been blown out of proportion
Yeah.
and that it's actually quite disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
Vic has one funny bit and one not so funny bit. I thought it was really funny that one of the things they come up with is that the chief hit on Maya.
Yeah.
The funny bit is Vic's reaction to that is that she's offended that it's not her.
It
If that's
wasn't
the
her.
case.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what I didn't enjoy was the whole like, oh well, it's only disrespectful if we do it in front of her face.
Yeah, no, I thought that was classless
Yeah.
for sure.
In one of the other vehicles where we've got Maya and Beckett, because Beckett's made Maya ride with him basically as punishment. And he said she was with him in case he needed someone to polish his helmet.
Mm-hmm.
Was that supposed to sound dirty? Was it supposed to be
um,
like, was it supposed to be slightly harassy?
I took it as just being a douchebaggy comment. That's all.
I did until I wrote it down. And then I was like, oh,
Like
that,
it was very belittling. That's all. That's how I took it.
yeah. I don't know if it was. I'm sure that someone in the writers' room would have pointed out that there might be a slightly inappropriate double entendre there. So I would have to
Yeah, my
assume that
mind
they
did
left it in
not
on
go there at
purpose.
all.
Yeah. But anyway, either way, he's offensive.
Yes, he is.
um, so they're in the vehicle together, and she's trying to smooth things over and trying to make conversation with him. And he literally blanks her, talks to the driver, some guy called Clyde, and turns on the radio and starts singing in a bid
Mm-hmm.
to ignore Maya. Singing, by the way, is a term I use loosely, but
Yes.
he's wailing along to some sort of classic rock tune. Then, whilst they're, if we go back to Theo, Vic, and Co., whilst they're packing up after the Crypto Brian incident, they're still coming up with crazy theories as to what Maya could have blackmailed the chief with, while Sullivan and Andy are just keeping stum. And then Andy can't take anymore and shuts it down. And Vic says, no, it's just a joke. But Andy says it's not funny because it's actually real people's lives that they're talking about. And then she does the best and most honourable thing I think I've ever seen Andy do up to this point, which is she makes up a plausible lie, which not only clears but redeems Maya. Um,
Yes.
saying
It
that what
does.
actually happened was that Maya told the chief that if she didn't fire Beckett and make Andy the captain of 19, Maya was going to kick up a big stink about the chief looking the other way about Beckett's drinking. But then a
Mm-hmm.
spot opened up when Gibson left, so Andy came back to 19 anyway, but the genie was already out of the bottle because the chief had already told Beckett about Maya's plan, hence Beckett now giving Maya a hard time. So Vic now says that that's kind of sneaky and she likes it. But Sullivan obviously knows the
Yeah, he
truth and is
knows.
giving
Yeah.
Andy a WTF face.
Yeah.
But then they both give each other a long look that says, oh, I know what's actually, and you know that I know, and now I know that you know, and so you know
Yeah.
now that I know, and so did you know that I know? Because I now know that you know that I know, and it's like a
Yep.
thing.
Yep. What are you gonna do about it?
Exactly. Who's going to make the first move? And then back at the station, they're all still making genitalia jokes when Beckett comes in and asks Maya why he sees her wife at the station more than his own girlfriend. And so Maya grumpily goes through to reception where Karina's been updating Andy about seeing Jack at the hospital. And she tells Maya then that Jack isn't doing well. And Maya very dismissively says that that was obvious when they found him drunk under a tree, handcuffed to Eva Vasquez's bed. It's just such an image, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And Karina says to Maya that she thought Jack was her friend, and Maya says that he was, but he left. And then she says that she needs a workout and that Jack created his own problems. Andy tells Maya that that's cold and asks if they have each other's backs or not. And Maya looks directly at Karina and says she's dealing with her own problems at the minute. And then Karina, kind of good on her, doesn't take it lying down and says, well, I don't think you are actually dealing with them. And by the way, have you contacted a therapist? Which
Mm-hmm.
then leads Maya to go on a massive rant about everything that she's going through
Mm-hmm.
right
Mm-hmm.
now, finishing off that her wife, and the way that she says it is quite acerbic. There's quite a lot of kind of bile, I think, in the way that she delivers
Mm-hmm.
it, that her wife now thinks she's unstable. And then she hightails it up the stairs, leaving Karina in reception in tears again. And Andy apologizes for Maya and says that she'll call Jack, for which Karina thanks her and leaves, still in tears.
Yeah.
And then we get Theo and Vic in the locker room, and Vic's doing a whole lot of foreshadowing. She's doing some foreshadowing for herself that also works as some foreshadowing for us, basically saying that things are too perfect with Theo and he's too perfect, and she's just waiting for a ton of bricks to get dropped on her life. And then she uses the example of Maya and Karina, saying that Karina thought she'd married her perfect match, but that Maya turned out to be a nasty blackmailer. To which Theo says, are we surprised?
Jeez. Yeah, Theo, and how much you turn out to be.
Right?
Sorry.
Um, and then he like turns all sweet, and he is actually very sweet with Vic, and he basically says that she's got nothing to worry about. He feels the same way about her. And then their beautiful romantic moment is ruined by Travis coming in, admonishing them for canoodling in the firehouse, handing out shame tickets, which was fun. We find Maya back in the gym where she says she's burning off the day on the treadmill when Ben comes in, and he unwittingly tells Maya that Andy's covered for her
Mm-hmm.
and has made her the hero of the piece. And he tells her that she did the right thing, that it took guts, and he gives her a little fist bump,
Yeah.
which she awkwardly accepts and kind of guiltily accepts.
Yeah.
And then in the beanery, Andy's waiting for Sullivan and tells him that Maya isn't herself, that she's in self destruct mode, and warns him that when she's like that, she tends to take other people out with her. So he should
Mm-hmm.
probably stop sleeping with the chief. And
Mm-hmm.
then he very carefully chooses words. He uses very careful semantics to get around things, saying that he isn't. And it's not happening because I guess currently it isn't.
Yeah,
But
so it's technically not a lie.
but really he has
Technically.
lied to Andy.
Yeah, he has. I agree.
And she even says, like, I know you. You're wandering around this place like a teenage girl.
Mm-hmm.
I know when you're in love. But
Mm-hmm.
he says, no, I'm on a dating app. Which, I mean, technically he is,
Yeah, he is.
you know? And then we close out with the infamous Maya handing Beckett a bottle of booze scene.
Yeah, that poor writing scene.
So, oh, I don't want to go into it in too much detail because it's pretty grim, but basically takes a bottle of booze into Beckett, says, "This is your favourite. Look at this, peace offering, truce," and hands him a bottle of booze, and then looks quite happy with herself when she walks out.
Which is just not Maya. That should show us right there how poor her mental health is.
Yes, yeah. So I guess this is where we start to see Maya using running as her escape and sort of going into
Hmm.
default eyes forward mode.
Hmm. Hmm.
So when Karina rebuffs her advances, straight away she looks at the running shoes. She's run to work. She wants to run as soon as she gets to work. She's running after work.
Yeah.
Um, so this is the point at which we can start to worry, I guess. Why this was the only problem that I had with the writing, and it wasn't anything to do with the style. I think everything was really slick. Like the writing was really slick, as in the actual words on the page. But why was Vic written so mean?
Yeah, I agree. I didn't really care for a lot of her lines in this episode, like at all.
That's not usually Vic's character, is it?
No, it's not. No, she's usually the lighthearted, very much like Travis.
I mean, she's snarky, but
Yeah.
it's not usually mean-spirited snark. It's
No.
funny snark.
Yeah, I agree.
But she said some really like awful thing, like saying that, oh, Maya's the most ruthless person I know apart from you, to Sullivan.
Yeah.
I mean, he's ruthless. I don't think Maya's ruthless. I think she's ambitious. I
Hmm.
don't think generally she's ruthless. And she's definitely never been ruthless with Vic. She's always been really supportive of Vic.
Right.
Then I think Andy was right when she was saying that they were being disrespectful
Hmm.
and that it's not funny. It is people's lives. All of that is
Hmm.
100% true. Um, yeah, and calling her a nasty blackmailer.
Hmm.
And then Theo's Are You Surprised? He's only been there 5 minutes. He wasn't there for the
Yeah.
whole
Yeah, I know.
captain bit that happened in season 3. So
Right.
he's got absolutely nothing to base that on.
No, because Maya showed her integrity several times as captain. Like she really showed herself and just how amazing of a person she is and captain she was. So,
Yeah. And then she stepped down when the old chief said,
hmm,
Mr. Old Handlebar Mustache Guy, when he
yeah,
said, oh, well, we'll just disband 19 then, or,
right,
she stepped down from captain. It's like, no, 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 it's fine then.
right.
I'll just step down. And so Theo's got absolutely nothing to base that on.
No,
Neither's Vic. I don't think she is ruthless. So I didn't really get that. And
no, I didn't either.
that's the only thing I've got to moan about really with this episode is that.
It's like who's writing for Vic and don't write for Vic again.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like
it just
whoever
wasn't
wrote
Vic,
for
was
her,
it?
just yeah, just they just didn't do a good job.
And someone pointed out in an email to us a little while ago that Vic at this point is doing all of her psych training.
Hmm.
So she should have been picking up at this point on Maya's mental health issues, not just being, the mean girl on the playground. She should have
Yeah,
actually
just like
been
they have her
aware
picking
enough
up on
of what's
Beckett.
going on. Yeah,
Yeah, same thing.
yeah.
Hmm.
So I didn't like it. Um, what I did like, however, was Andy really stepping up for Maya.
Yeah, I did too. It was good to see that again.
I think that was literally the nicest thing she's ever done.
Yeah, it was just good to see that element again.
And I think that she showed really strong leadership skills
Hmm.
by being the one. I mean, like the whole, don't get me wrong, like the whole swimming pool thing was great, but I think that she showed her real leadership skills in being the one that shut down all the gossip
Yeah,
and
bringing
taking
the
control of,
morale of the house
yeah,
back together. Hmm.
yeah, and taking control of things like behind the scenes. Yeah.
Hmm. Yep.
Um, Nothing but good things to say about Danielle Savory again.
Yeah. Talent is her and Karina had really good scenes this
Yeah.
her and Stefania had really good scenes this episode. So
But this is something that you pointed out to me, and it might even have been in the first podcast episode that we ever recorded, is Danielle's hands. And
hmm
the anxious hands came out in this
yeah.
episode. Lots
Yeah,
of
they did.
clenching of the fists and the fidgeting of the
Yeah.
hands.
Yeah.
Lots of that.
She's good at that. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's good at that and
Um,
the subtle facial expressions for sure.
yeah. Yeah. All the little micro
Yeah.
expressions. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, the bottle scene, it would be remiss of us to not discuss the bottle scene, I think. And I know it was
I
like an
know.
add-on. I think she and Peter Page in their live, I need to watch that again. Um, I think it was in that they said that it was an add-on. Or was it
Hmm.
in her one with Stefania? I remember it being
It was
mentioned
one
as
of
being
them. Yeah.
an add-on scene though.
Hmm.
But my biggest problem with it, honestly, is the look on her face as she leaves the office.
Hmm.
I don't even mind the action of her taking him the bottle so much. I do,
Hmm.
but I think my biggest gripe is that look of that expression that she's got, which is that of like smug pleasure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it would have been more fitting if she'd had like a bit of a tormented look on her face.
Almost like a torn look on her face, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a I didn't want to do it, but I feel like it's my only
Hmm.
course of action at this point kind of thing.
Hmm.
Like it's sort of like that it's a desperate act, not something that she's really enjoying because she's possibly destroying a man.
Yeah.
Mm.
I
And
agree.
I know that later on she says to Ben that she hates herself for taking pleasure in handing him the bottle.
Hmm.
And Ben kind of says to her, yeah, but you weren't in your right mind. But I still
Hmm.
think that that choice of showing pleasure at doing that was it just like pushed her a little bit too far over into evil from desperate.
Hmm.
I don't know what you think. I don't know what your feelings are.
No, it was kind of like a point of no return for sure.
Yeah.
Um, and it was far from, I don't know. I could see the desperation in it, but there was just so much in it that wasn't Maya, right? So
Yes.
much,
It was
yeah,
completely out of character. And I know
yeah.
that she's not herself, as Andy said, she's
Hmm.
not herself, and
Hmm.
she does want to
Hmm.
take people down with her when she's in this mode.
Hmm. Hmm.
But taking
But that
actual
far, it was
pleasure
too
in it.
far. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just too far.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm on the same page as you are.
Was there anything that you wanted to pull out from that whole kind of section with the blackmail and the team and their reaction to it? And
Um, no, I mean, I think they kind of threw her under the bus for sure. I think them when they all thought it was blackmail, I was really disappointed in their reaction as a team
yeah,
for
they
how
just,
much Maya has proven to be for to them. And I mean, she's helped each of them in their own way at one point in time.
yeah,
To do her how they did her, I was really disappointed in that.
to just make her like the butt of a joke instead of
Yeah,
saying, whoa, hold on, this,
yeah, something's not right.
something's not right. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it was really disappointing and disheartening to see that side of the team and how they were not there for her.
yeah, agreed,
Yeah,
agreed.
so that's all I took from it, though.
Unless you've got anything else to say, I think that's the end of our breakdown. I think that's the whole episode, isn't it? Unless I missed anything.
No, I think we did good. I think we smashed this one. Hopefully the listeners like it too. Hopefully we made the recap more tolerable than having to watch it for all of you ones out there who can't get yourself to stomach up to watch it.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
It is tough, and especially just the whole. I think Danielle Savory just does too good of a job of somebody being in this deep depression, in this mental health
mhm,
crisis, because it
mhm,
is painful to see her like that, and it's
mhm.
painful to see Karina beating on the door and not being let in.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
It's awful. But I thought that overall this episode was better than last week's episode for
I
me
agree with
anyway.
that. No, I agree with that.
Yeah, I thought the writing was much cleaner and much slicker. I mean, apart from Vic's attitude and the bottle of booze at the end, but I thought that the episode overall felt like quite cohesive and smooth. So there were like no bumps in the road that sort of pulled me out of the story at any point, really.
It was easier to watch for me for some reason too. I don't know why.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, it was just a little bit better than last week.
yeah, agreed.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, Themes. Did you see any themes in this one?
Self-destruction.
Yeah, yeah.
Not, no, not really, no.
I wondered if it was that whole thing of, when you ignore the little things, they
Mhm,
turn into big things.
mhm,
So, like, if you don't deal with the little things at the time, they just get exponentially worse. I wondered if that was
mhm,
a theme, and if maybe
mhm,
where the
mhm,
fire was in that apartment building,
mhm,
because
mhm.
Ivy, the older lady, says that it used to be beautiful, but it hasn't been well maintained, and now it's
Right.
kind of gone up in flames. And I wonder if they were sort of using that as an allegory for everything else, because the same things kind of happened to Jack's life over the past 6 months. Like the little things have become big things now. It's all sort of gone up in smoke.
Yes.
And we can see the same thing happening in real time with Maya's mental health and with her marriage.
Yep, that's true. I can see that.
I wondered if that was maybe a theme.
No, I can see that.
What are you looking forward to next week? What are you taking away from this episode?
Um, gosh, that's so tough when we've already seen it. Um,
Well, luckily, I've only seen it once because I didn't.
yeah,
I have not.
yeah, I
I
know. I
haven't gone
haven't
back.
either.
No, and when we did the spotlight on Andy and Maya's friendship, I knew that I was going
Yeah,
to have to. So I just like whizzed past most of
yeah.
it and just focused on those bits. But
Um, just I guess watching Myra's continued spiral, I guess, and Jack's coming out of his spiral because they kind of interchange, right? Like one comes out because he kind of takes over for Maya as
yeah,
she goes into
yeah,
hers.
they're going in opposite directions, aren't they, with their mental
Yeah,
health?
yeah, and so seeing one kind of getting better and one kind of getting worse. Um, and honestly, I think just looking, I'm look as corny as it's gonna sound. I'm looking forward to the acting because the acting in this season is so just amazing, and I'm just looking forward to seeing the actors being stretched
Yeah,
and um and just seeing the talent and the skill that they have from all of them. Actually,
yeah, yeah.
how about you?
Um, I'm just looking forward to seeing if Karina and Andy can make any headway with mess number one and mess number two. Like if either
Okay.
of them can get through it on any level at any point
Mm-hmm.
to Maya and Jack.
Okay.
And yeah, seeing if any dents are made there.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think had the best growth in this episode?
Um, Andy probably.
I said Andy.
Did you? Okay.
Matchy matchies. Yep. What are
Matchy
your
matchies.
reasons?
Just how she really stepped up as how a captain would step up.
I
Um,
said more or less the same.
yeah, she really kind of showed what a captain needed to be, and I was proud of her for that.
Yeah, I said that she was a good friend and a good leader.
Mm-hmm. Yep, for
Um,
sure. Both of them.
and then her talk with Maya, her talk with Sullivan, her talks about
Mm-hmm.
Maya to the guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good friend, good leader.
Yes, both for sure.
Which was either the best or your favorite scene?
Gosh, that's tough. I don't know. Probably the Jack and Karina interaction. Why did you pick the same one?
Matchy matchies.
Yeah, you said I could tell by the look on your face. Yeah, I really
Yeah.
like that interaction.
Yeah, I said everything between Karina and Jack.
Yeah,
It's brilliant.
yeah.
Best line or best piece of dialogue for you?
Probably I'm just gonna pick the funny line from Travis when he was like, "Oh yeah, that is important for the wedding
That was a
album."
good one.
Yeah, just to pick humor.
I think I'm going to surprise you with mine.
Okay.
I've picked Theo's little speech to Vic about pinching himself every day and feeling
Mm.
lucky to be with her.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that did surprise me.
I thought it was really nicely written
Mm-hmm.
and very nicely delivered.
Okay. I'll take it.
So I liked it. Who
Yeah.
was your MVP?
Um, Probably. Oh God, that's hard. I was either say Jane or Stefania.
We nearly had a
How
matchy
about you?
matchy again.
How about you?
I was torn between Stefania and Danielle again,
Okay.
but I'm going to give it to Stefania
Okay.
because Danielle again made me anxious for 42 minutes.
Yeah, and I mean, she's got so many that she's MVP of this season, so I'm trying to give it to some other people
Yeah,
too.
but Stefania again had me running the whole gamut. I was
Mm-hmm.
laughing with her. I would have
Yes.
cried for her if I, expressed emotions. Um,
Yeah, she did a
but
good
she was,
job bringing you from tons of emotions.
yeah. And
Hmm.
I think that she's just so versatile. And in the whole bit
Hmm.
where she was talking about wearing black as a protest and
Hmm.
not having any happy place, and then
Hmm.
there was funny 2.5 seconds later. This keeps
Yeah.
happening. It's the hormones.
Yeah.
And then are you pregnant now? Yeah, no, maybe no. She just can do no wrong. She's just a genius.
Yeah. Yes.
Most gifable moment for you?
Oh, that's tough. I don't know. Um, Man, I
I
feel like there's
feel
a
like a
lot.
woman.
There's a lot. What's yours favorite? What's your favorite?
Karina doing her scary hands. That's how they
Oh.
work. We scare them. That's how they work. Doing it.
You're so funny. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what my giftable moment would be. Um, that's a tough one. Anything with Ross, of course.
We'll just
We'll
do
just say
any
anything.
screenshot
Yeah.
of
Yes.
Mel Dandridge and it's going to be your favorite.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's
We'll
fair.
pick that one. Okay. That's fair.
Next week, we are on episode 603. It's called Dancing with Our Hands Tied, and it says the Station 19 crew responds to the scene of a car accident where two teenagers are trapped inside an electric car, and Ben and Maya find themselves caught in the middle of a domestic dispute involving a couple that they detest, which can only mean drunk Kitty Dixon.
Yep. Woohoo!
Go, Trevor!
Explains so much of Emmett being raised by them too.
Poor Emmett.
I
Poor
know,
Emmett.
poor kid.
It's,
He actually turned out pretty good for being raised by
it's
them.
unbelievable that he turned out as well as he did. It very
Yeah,
much
it
explains
is.
him running away to Europe and never being seen
Yes,
again. That
exactly.
that explains.
Yeah, for
Bless his
sure.
heart. But yeah, so we're trundling through these.
We are. We're doing good. I hope you guys are all enjoying it for what it is. And make sure you let us know. Let us know what you guys think.
Yeah, we love hearing from you, so do drop us a line. And
Yes.
it was lovely to see your face.
It was. I wish you all could see us too, but you can't. It's only for us.
It's an audio only medium.
Yes, it is.
Actually, that's not a terrible thing. I'm having a bad hair
No, it
day.
isn't. We can just enjoy seeing each other and they can
There
enjoy
you
hearing
go.
us.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, we'll
All
see you
right,
next time,
lovelies.
guys.
Okay.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Mike. Bye.